Hi, thanks again for tuning into Sims Workshop here on YouTube. Hope everyone's having a great day. So today we're going to be talking about The Fascinators by Andrew Eliopolus. I always wonder if I'm pronouncing his last name right, and I hope I am. In any case, so I thought this novel takes place in a small town in Georgia, and magic exists in this novel. I think that's really great. And it kind of follows three friends, Sam and James and Delia. Is James his name? I don't know. I wasn't his hugest fan. Delia I thought was really cool, even though she does a lot of questionable things in the end that are kind of like, how can you possibly redeem that? But I thought it was a pretty good novel. It's really about, as fantastical as it is, you know, magic is all around us, it's really about kind of growing up in a way, and I thought that was really beautiful, how, you know, these kids have reached their senior year in high school, and I think for a lot of people that's kind of scary, because then you're like, oh my god, college, right? You're going to be on your own, you're going to be an adult, people are going to finally take you somewhat seriously. And I think it's also like your friends. You know, you do have your friends from high school that you kind of stick to, like Lou. You know, I have mine. She was just, you know, she was the maid of honor at my wedding. You know, I love her. She's my friend forever. And she kind of she's one of those friends who calls me out on my bullshit, but and I love her for it, though. I do. She has stuck by me, and I think a lot of us have friends like that from high school. If we're lucky enough, you know, I'm really lucky to have her in my life. I wouldn't trade her for anything in the world. But I think you also have those friends who you're just kind of the same way with them, and they don't allow you to grow up, you know, or to change. And I think that's what Sam's going through in this novel, you know, with his two friends. And I think they're all kind of going through this, you know, they're all stuck in this knit of friendship. You know, they've been friends since they were kids, and they're comfortable with that, you know, they're comfortable being friends with one another. But I think what comes with that is they all kind of feel trapped by this friendship, you know. They feel like they're the only ones in their school who appreciates magic. They feel like they're the only ones who really want to grow up. And yet when they're together, they don't change. And Sam actually says that later on in the novel, you know. He's like, yeah, we're friends, but we don't allow each other to change. You know, you're kind of just stuck with who you know your friends are. And anything that kind of comes out of nowhere is kind of like mind-blowing. You know, people do change, they do grow up. There are a lot of people in my life that I'm no longer friends with, because it's like I've changed, I've kind of outgrown them. I've realized that they're just happy staying the same, and I'm just like, no, I want to grow, I want to change. So you kind of do that, you know, you kind of separate yourselves from the ones who don't want you to grow and change, and then you find friends who welcome any changes you have. You know, that's what my friend is to me, Natalia. You know, I've changed so much, and she's changed so much, but we welcome each other's changes, you know. And I think if you're lucky enough to have that in your life, you know, then you did good. You did good. But I think with Sam, you know, he's kind of going through that in this novel. He meets a new friend. He makes a new friend. James makes a new friend. And they're kind of like, there's this wall of tension between them. Because Sam does have romantic feelings for James, but I'm going to say this right now, James is just not good enough for him. And Delia says it too. It's just not good enough for him. He has a lot of pent-up anger because, he does come from an unstable home. His dad does border on abusive. He does go to church. He is a churchgoer, and he finds peace in church. It helps him kind of make sense of everything that goes on at home. And Sam, while also being a magic user, is also gay. So he doesn't really find, solace in church. He kind of, I don't want to say mocks it, but he's just like indifferent to it and kind of questions why James would be a Christian when Christians think that magic using is bad and evil and the work of the devil. And I think that has a lot of symbolism to, the world with, people who are part of the LGBTQ community. Some of them are Christian, and I think they kind of have to find the struggle of what Christians believe about them. But I'm of the mind that unless you're God, you really don't have the place to really judge. That's my personal opinion. However, I'm also the kind of person that doesn't force my beliefs onto others. I really think that's incredibly disrespectful. But I'm also really respectful of other people's beliefs. You are allowed to believe whatever you want, as long as it doesn't hurt others, in my opinion. If you are preaching hate, and if you are preaching bigotry and harm to others, I'm sorry, but I don't think you're following what Jesus and God would believe. And I think that's what Sam feels in this novel, because not only is he gay, he is a magic user, and both of those are not really welcomed by the church in this novel. And I think it's a really powerful symbolism in this novel. And I also think that says a lot about his relationship and his friendship with James, that he kind of ignores this entire part of James. Granted, I don't think James is good enough for him. Sam is pretty open-minded, but he's also pretty dismissive of James's beliefs. He doesn't really see until the end of the novel how much the church kind of helps him make sense of the world, because his home world is kind of chaos, but he has peace. He finds peace going to church and his church-like activities. It is a moment where his family is unified, and for him that is a comforting moment for him. And I really do love that. I'm just going to call him Andrew because I want to keep butchering his last name. I think that's really great what the author Andrew is able to convey to the reader, that we can all have these sort of different beliefs as long as we respect each other. But that also says a lot about, Sam's friendship with James, going back to that. They don't really see all of each other. They don't really want to, because they know each other in a way, and they really don't want that way to change. So they are both outgrowing each other. And, this novel is kind of like about growing up and accepting who you are, and just sort of coming to peace with some of the chaos in our world. There's so much chaos right now in the world. It's kind of hard to make sense of it at times, especially, if you're a parent and you want to try to make sense of it to your kids, Whew, so glad my kid is still a babe and it's not asking the hard questions yet. But not looking forward to that. I'm gonna have to start explaining hate to him, and I'm not looking forward to explaining that. Hopefully when he's older, there'll be less hate in the world, less racism, less bigotry. I can be hopeful, I think if we're all a little hopeful, maybe the world will get better. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the Fascinators. Let's get back to it. I know I've jumped off topic a lot, and I do apologize for that, but I feel like this novel has so much connection to the real world, which is, I think, a really impactful, relatable aspect of this novel, and probably why I enjoyed it so much, because it is so relatable. It's a small town in Georgia, all the detail is there, the beauty is there, and you can visualize this town and connect it to any town that you grow up in. I was reading this novel, I'm like, oh yeah, it's kind of like this town that I grew up in Dorchester, or oh yeah, I can connect it to parts of my life, which I think is really impactful. If you're able to connect to the novel on an emotional level, then the author is doing their job. If you're able to connect to the author in an intellectual level, also great. This novel has so much intellectual depth, and I think it's really compelling, and it's a really invigorating read. It has a lot of strong character dynamics, some of which I've already talked about. I haven't talked about Delia yet. We're going to get into that in a second. But it's also talking about, having new friends, making new friends. And yeah, for me, making new friends anytime I started a new school was so scary. Like, I hated starting a new school. I hated starting a new grade in a new city. Hated it. When I got to college, whew, you should have seen me. I was super nervous. I was like quiet for probably the first couple days, and then I realized, oh, these guys are pretty cool, my roommates. So then I opened up more. But I think we all find this a little scary because we don't know who to be. And Sam doesn't really know quite who to be when he makes his new friends. Does he be the person that his old friends have always known him to be, or does he be the person he wants to be? Let his true colors fly. So there's a lot of character tension, a lot of tension in those dynamics. And I think it's really enriching. It really makes you think, it really makes you think back on your own life as well, It certainly made me think back on a lot of my life and a lot of my friendships. And I love that. And then you have Delia. I said we're going to talk about Delia. She is the third member in the group. She has, and this goes to Sam and James as well. I really hope his name is James, otherwise this is gonna suck. But I'm looking at my notes. You don't have to be. Give me a minute. I'm sorry. This is the one name that I didn't write down. Oh, that's great. I promise I'll get better at writing down character names. I promise you that. If you stick by me, I make this promise to you. I will get better and start writing character names down. But anyway, Delia is sort of the youngest in the family, and she's often forgotten by her parents, ever since she was a kid, often forgotten. And so she kind of only finds peace in her own power, She wants power to make her life better. And she even abandons Sam and James later on in the novel for power. And I think that also says a lot about their friendship as well. Sam even recounts all the times that he and James forgot about her, left her out of the equation. They're supposed to be a trio, and oftentimes their trio was more of a duo. And I think, once again, it says a lot about friendships. It kind of turned a blind eye to a lot of behavior, but there's just no coming back from some things. Now, I think Delia is a very complex character. I really did like her. She really goes down a dark path, but she kind of sees a light at the end. And what I think is really interesting about her characterization is, if the author, Andrew, wanted to do another sequel kind of novel following Delia, I think she'd make a great villain, actually. She kind of does go down this villainous path, and I think, has that been sticking out this entire, I'm gonna be so mad. I'm sorry, my bangs, I forgot to blow dry them, so now they're sticking out all over the place. Delia, like I said, she would make a great villain, I think. I think that's really part of her compelling characterization. She needs power. Power is the only thing that she feels like gives her any semblance of love, so she needs it. And I think that that's really just so amazing about her. She does a lot of bad near the end, but she still has some ethics, some morality to her. And I think, as far as she's concerned, she would make a great follow-up sequel if Andrew wanted to explore her future and her path down the line. I think that would be really cool, actually. I would like to see Delia's journey further on. That being said, you know, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Please do not forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. Please, no religious debates in the comment section. I know I talked a lot about religion. I was not trying to do any debates or anything, so please no debating. I kind of want to keep this area peaceful. I feel like if we start debating, and whole lot of nonsense is going to come up, and I would really like to avoid that. But please do like and subscribe to this video. Do like and subscribe to my channel for more like this. And this was The Fascinators by Andrew Eliopolus. You can purchase this book on bookshop.org. A percentage of all the proceeds do go to local booksellers, so I really do hope you support that. And if money is too tight, you know, please support your local library. Libraries are great resources for people of any age. So on that note, have a great rest of your day and happy reading.